Jordan.
Got it.
LeBron James.
Yes.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes.
And then we start reaching.
No, you don't reach. Mr. Bean?
Who?
Mr. Kobe Bean's not in the conversation?
He's right. He's next. Then we start reaching.
No.
Yeah, we start reaching after.
Kobe Bean, and I'm saying I think I put Steph Curry in that conversation.
I'm just saying, to me, that's the pool to me. Kareem.
Welcome back to another episode of the APPALLED Cast, man. Y'all know what it is, man. It's the APPALLED Cast, man. Long time, but yeah, man, I'm here. So let's talk basketball tonight, because Steph Curry went on the heat of the night. You know, it is what it is. It was beautiful basketball to be seen. But interesting talk after the game. Shaquille O'Neal brought up a point. Hey, man, where does Steph Curry really rank at? For real. Because you know what? I've always been one to say this, though. For me, it's always be MJ, Kobe, and then Steph Curry. That's what I always believed. I always believed that. I mean, because the game is about skill. Now, it's different reasons why you might not have Curry as being in your top three for different reasons. But I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. So I want to get to where Shaq talks in detail. So that's what I want to do. I want to get to that part where Shaq talks in detail about exactly why he believes Curry and where he ranks Curry at.
There's a lot of guys that have done that. But have they ever been timely and consistently in the moment? I would say no.
I'm wondering, not saying, I'm just wondering, because he's been consistently the best shooter his whole career. I'm wondering, is it time to start putting him as the best player of all time?
Best player?
I'm saying.
Oh, you put him over you?
In the conversation.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
You put him over you. You yourself put Steph Curry over you.
Yeah, this way he's my favorite player.
I'm not saying favorite. He might be my favorite too, but I'm just asking you, think he's better than you?
I played 20 years, watched 20 years before that. I've never seen a guy like him. And he's doing it consistently, and he has championships.
You put him over Michael?
No, I'm not putting him anywhere. I'm saying,
okay,
for all the chitter chatter, is it time to just put him in the conversation?
I think he's a.
I'm asking the fans, is it time to start putting him in the conversation as one of the best players ever?
I'm gonna put it as a fan.
Yes,
I think in terms of position, you could say, is he one of the best in his position that ever play? But I think the one thing that separates yourself, Jordan, LeBron, is the ability to affect the game in so many other areas. Well, okay, because one part of I'm not saying one part of basketball
is for Steph.
No, we have. He's got great teams, and I'm not saying, we're not taking it away from his greatness to say he's.
Is it time to put him in the conversation? I'm just asking a question. Yes or no?
If you're having the conversation, his name would come up.
No.
If I'm having the conversation, yeah.
As the best player ever? No.
Yeah.
Not as the best player ever.
He can do it all except.
No, he's the best position. He might be best in his position.
Hey man, he can do it all.
No.
Listen, his title is solidified. He's the best shooter ever by far. But I'm saying, because of what he's done and how long he's done it, do we put him in that conversation? Because you look at.
All right, so let's get right to it. So a couple of things, man, that I'm gonna point out, right, in that conversation, in that back and forth between Shaq and Kenny. I understand Kenny's point of view. Now, I just had this same talk earlier today with a good friend of mine, basketball guru, man. We talked about this. Now, there's many different reasons why people may not rank Steph as high of a basketball player. And I'll tell you, I'll start off with not with the pros. We'll start off with the cons. And the main reason that a lot of guys won't favor Steph and put him in that top three is mostly because Steph hasn't been dominant on the opposite side of the ball defensively. But as far as a scorer, he ranks up there with the best as far as getting buckets. When it comes to scoring, with his size disadvantage that he has, he's 6'3" compared to guys who have been dominant, such as LeBron, 6'8", Kobe Bryant, 6'7", Michael Jordan, 6'6". These guys are all larger in stature. So it's been easier for them to score. So the degree of difficulty in which Steph Curry gets his 30 a night, over his career, he's averaged, anywhere from 25 to 30 points a night. And he's been a very, very efficient and effective scorer, timely scorer. they're not just empty buckets, like say like a Gilbert Arenas or something like that. I mean, these are buckets that have counted toward championships and affecting the floor balance and spreading the floor gravity. This is Steph Curry. This is what Steph Curry has been. So I understand. For me, it's always been Jordan, Kobe, and then Steph Curry. LeBron is great, but LeBron is, it's size. It's really not really skill. I mean, it's skill. I'm not going to say it's not skill. It's some type of skill, but it ain't the skill that to my eyes, I say, wow, this guy is a great basketball player. I say, you know what? He's a talented basketball player, but he's also big. I look at Steph Curry and say that the degree of difficulty in which he has to score throughout a game and carry his team and how he affects the floor. He literally makes his teammates better for real. Not nothing just, not somebody just saying that he makes their team better. He really does by actually like guys around him get open shots because why? Because I mean, Steph Curry, the gravitational pull that he has on the floor. You look at it, you give Steph Curry a wing player, just give him a solid wing player. And he won you a championship. With Harrison Barnes, you give him a solid wing player. Andrew Wiggins, he won you a championship. You give him Kevin Durant, it's overkill. It's overkill. When you put him with another superstar to that level, when you really think about the talent that Steph Curry has played with, Klay Thompson, I mean, he's a good player. He's not a top 75 player. I mean, can he even get a shot off on his own? I mean, is he DeMar DeRozan? Is he Zach LaVine? No, he's not. He's a shooting guard that catches and shoots the ball. He's not really a guy who creates his own shot. He's not Kyrie Irving. I mean, these are the things that you got to ask a question with. And that's who's been his number two or his running mate the majority of Steph Curry's career. So when you think about what Steph Curry had to play with, Draymond Green is not a bucket. It's not a bucket. So you think about what Steph Curry has played with. Yes, all great players, they need certain role players. They need certain guys to fill in certain voids where they don't really pick up the pieces at. I mean, LeBron has not been a great shooter his entire career. And what has he done? He's always facilitated himself with great shooters around him because that's not his strength. That's actually his weakness, and that has been his weakness. Going back to when San Antonio built the wall up against him. Step back off of him and let him shoot. That was the game plan. They beat him. I mean, look at when the Mavs beat him. So anyway, we talk about these players. Kobe Bryant, same thing. He needed a big. Did he need a big as good as Shaq? I mean, maybe in the beginning. But toward his second tenure of his career, you gave him Pau Gasol. You give him Pau Gasol and you give him Andrew Bynum, but you give him a few good shooters, Sasha Vujacic and Jordan Farmar, Derek Fisher, and Kobe Bryant gonna get you a championship. You gotta put players around him. A good wing too. Trevor Ariza, Ron Artest. You put players around players, but with Steph Curry, you put players around him. So yes, he's not defensively Kawhi Leonard, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. He's not of that size. But for his size, what he's done for the history of the game, and not only for the history of the game, for what he does, I mean, night in, night out, he's not a shooter, not just a shooter. The best shooter? No. For me, top three. So even Shaq said it. The key thing Shaq said was, he's better than him. Now, that's for y'all to judge. A lot of people like dominant players, like I said, guys that are larger in stature. Shaq, I mean, Jordan, Kobe, all those guys are large. Those guys are players that can impose their will when they need a bucket. Kawhi Leonard, the same type of guy. Kevin Durant, same type of guy. I mean, Steph Curry, I mean, that would be his flaw that at one point in time, he would kind of like, you seem like you could kind of minimize him when it came down, the double teams. Even with Dame Lillard, it kind of happens too. You can send the doubles and they got to get the ball out their hand. They cross half court, you got to get the ball out their hand. But that's why Andre Iguodala won that MVP that year, because every time Steph Curry crossed half court, Ty Lue and them, they sent the double team. They sent the double team and Steph got the ball to the right people. He was making all the right passes and right reads. And guess what? People was hitting those shots. The second year in 2016, Harrison Barnes, man, he couldn't hit the side of a bomb. he couldn't throw the rock in the middle of the ocean for real. So he probably would have got the MVP, or Draymond would have got the MVP that year if that's the way they look. But you don't understand, it's what they doing to Steph. They sending double and triple teams at him. So really, let's really look at this the way that it really is. This man is like, hey, he is what it is, man. Anyway, in my opinion, you can get in the comments and do whatever it is that you want to do. Say your feelings, say what it is. But, hey, man, we got to give credit where credit is due. Like Shaq said. Shaq say, hey, I believe that Steph Curry is actually a better player than me. And Shaq gave a nod to Kobe, too, on that. And I would agree with Shaq. That Steph Curry and Kobe are better than Shaq. Shaq was a great player, certainly one of the most dominant player. But, other guys was good too, man. Hakeem Olajuwon, at that center position. I mean, that's what I could really remember. Hakeem and Tim Duncan, those guys was good too. But anyway, this ain't about that. But hey, man, look, man, coming from Shaq, coming from me, this is the APPALLED Cast. Let me know what y'all think. Comment, subscribe. Let me know. Say your piece, whatever. It's the APPALLED Cast.